Thank you, Deputy President. Right now, there are more than 30,000 people in Kalgoorlie-Boulder who have to travel to Perth by car, bus, train or plane in order to get an MRI scan. If you don't already know, that's a 600-kilometre journey one way just to get a scan. I wonder how many of you in here have had to travel that far to get an MRI. The travel that far often costs hundreds of dollars, especially when you take into account overnight accommodation. Thankfully, after months and months of significant lobbying by One Nation, Kalgoorlie Hospital was granted a Medicare licence for an MRI machine in June, the first licence to be issued in years. The WA State Labor Government has already set aside $3 million to buy the machine and install it at our Kalgoorlie Regional Health Campus. But guess what? The State Labor Government is now saying it would take up to 2 years before the machine is installed. That's 2 years. How is that saving lives? What's even more frightening is from next month, older Australians will be denied Medicare rebates for a GP-ordered MRI. And by older Australians, I mean those who are 50 and over and need a scan for their knees. That's at least 80% of you in here in this chamber. We wouldn't have this issue, though, if the government provided more MRI licences to independent imaging clinics which aren't part of the duopoly. There are about two chains which run the shop when it comes to scans, and quite often they are using old or outdated equipment. Some of the independent imaging clinics have far superior newer equipment which can hone in on cancers and tumours that have failed to be detected by the scanners that multinationals use. I know this because I've seen it with my own eyes. In my home state of Western Australia, there's been significant investment in two hospitals, the Fiona Stanley and the new Children's Hospital. A lot of money has been spent on both, but at the Children's Hospital has had its fair share of troubles. It was already over budget before it opened, and who could forget the scandal which saw lead leaching in the water supply. Despite this new investment in tertiary and children's hospitals, doctors have warned of increasing wait times at Perth hospitals and the growing wait list for elective surgeries which are putting the public health system under strain. And then you have more and more people cancelling their private health insurance, which is again putting the public health system under further strain. Even emergency departments are struggling to admit or discharge patients within the 4-hour set target. There is no doubt in my mind that the health system in Australia was once the envy of many other nations. However, it is quickly losing its much respected ranking, and the government of the day must apply a fair and meaningful approach to ensure all Australians are looked after to the extent which all of us in this chamber expect.